Hello and welcome back. So this video is going to be a little bit different. However, it is a video I've wanted to do since I started my channel. It is my thoughts on some controversial brands. And a lot of people have done videos like this, and some people have done brands that I don't support. This is not exactly all brands I don't support, but it's just kind of my thoughts on some brands that a lot of people consider controversial. So these are just my thoughts, and if you disagree with me, I think that is totally okay. I would just ask that you would do it in a respectful way. Because one thing I really hate is I've seen comments on people's YouTube channels or Instagrams where someone posts something about a controversial brand and someone comments something really terrible like, "Oh, you are the devil for supporting Jeffree Star." And that is just so hypocritical. I can't stand that kind of behavior. And, I think it's okay though to say, I don't support that brand, but you do, and that's okay. So yeah, these are just my thoughts, but please do let me know what you think because we're not all going to have the same opinions. That's just how the world works. So let's get into it. Well, speaking of Jeffree Star, I will just start with him. He's had a lot of controversies, some racist remarks, and also a lot of drama with other influencers. And a lot of it, it's put a really bad taste in my mouth for the brand. So I have not purchased from the brand. And at this point, I don't really want to. However, I do think, he has shown some signs of change. And he's made a lot of comments that he wants his makeup brand to be all-inclusive, and he's done highlighters and all sorts of shades and all sorts of other things that would work with a variety of skin tones, and he has spoken out against brands who are not all-inclusive. So, maybe he has changed. I can't say that for certain, but he has shown some signs of change. And I do think people can change and improve themselves. Some people think, once you're a certain way, you're like that forever, but I don't believe that. I think you can improve yourself. So I haven't tried the brand. The only other thing about the brand though that doesn't really entice me a lot is like the packaging is just not really my aesthetic. It's very hot pink and kind of Barbie type. I don't know. I don't love the aesthetic. The only thing that I have been curious to try that I may buy at some point is just to try one of his liquid lipsticks because everybody says it's the best formula. So if I buy anything from that brand, it would be a liquid lipstick. I wouldn't go all out and buy like a whole bunch of stuff. But again, at this point, I don't want to do that, but I would be considering that in the future. Next up is apparently an arch nemesis of Jeffree Star, and that is Kat Von D. And this used to be a brand I loved. Absolutely loved this brand. I had the foundation, concealer, all sorts of products from her. This is one that I'm just going to say I'm not going to buy from anymore. I'm just not. She's had a lot of drama, not only anti-Semitic comments, but this whole anti-vaccination thing, which I think that's dangerous. The science proves that that is dangerous. There are people who don't have an immune system or children who are too young to get all their vaccines. And this stance is dangerous. And I don't like when people promote things that are bad for people's health and dangerous. So I can't agree with that. And I don't want to buy from her anymore. When that happened, I had one lipstick left from her and I threw it away because I couldn't even look at it anymore. It really made me angry. And then before that, I was not aware of some of her other controversies, like some of racist things as well. And then I discovered those things as well. And then it was just like, no. So I have decided not to purchase from the brand anymore. But if you really like the products and even if you disagree with her statements, there are so many. I've watched people's videos who say, look, I don't agree with Kat Von D. I don't think she's a great person, but I just like the makeup. And I do think that that's okay. Everyone has a right to choose, but personally, I don't want to buy from her anymore. Okay, next up is Morphe. So this brand's controversies have been more, well, before a lot of people were saying that it was private labeled, which it was, but from what I've read now, it is no longer private labeled. They have their own formulas in factories. And then a lot of people have a really bad taste in their mouth from Morphe because of the constant code pushing that people are doing. You know, obviously Jaclyn Hill and all of her repeated palettes and always use my code, use my code. And I gotta say, I felt the same way about the brand. But when it came to Ulta, you don't really have to, you don't have to order from their website, which I've heard also the shipping from the Morphe website is maybe overpriced or not that great. I'm not sure. But since it came to Ulta, I have decided that I did want to try the brand, and I've ordered quite a few things from Morphe, and I really like it, actually. I have some of the Vault palettes, which actually I think are pretty good, but they're not as good as the original Jaclyn Hill palette. I have highlighter, I have lip gloss, I have their liquid lipsticks, I have makeup brushes. Their makeup brushes also had a lot of controversies that they were falling apart, but I bought the ones that people were reviewing to be very good, and they have. I mean, I've had Morphe brushes for 1.5 years and they're in perfect condition. So, I think people push their codes, yeah, because they want to make money, but that doesn't mean we have to use their codes or we don't have to buy the products. And I didn't buy the Morphe products because I was forced into it or anything. I actually do. I like the products. So I don't know. I'm going to keep buying from Morphe. The next is not a specific brand, but it is the whole cruelty-free thing. I don't know why I said quotes. Cruelty-free. And this is, I've noticed, very controversial. People get very angry. I've seen comments in somebody's YouTube channels where, I don't know, they pulled out a Maybelline mascara and people were like, what are you doing? You're a terrible person. Why are you using Maybelline? And I think animal testing is terrible. I totally don't agree with it, and it's not necessary anymore. There are other means. And yeah, basically the reason companies are still doing it is because they want to sell in China, and that is a large market, and they are still requiring animal testing. Now, my makeup collection it's mostly cruelty-free actually for the last 2 years, but there's just a few things that I haven't switched over. One being mascara. My favorite mascara is the L'Oreal Carbon Black, and I tried so many cruelty-free mascaras to find a similar one, including high-end, and I just haven't, and I got sick of trying to find a better mascara, and I was spending half my days with mascara flaking on my face. So I just decided, screw it. I'm gonna keep buying L'Oreal Carbon Black because I love it. And I do have some other non-cruelty-free things. I do have a few things from MAC, and I have kind of this connection with MAC because it was the first high-end brand I ever bought, and I really do like their products. I think they're really good. So, at this point, I haven't bought anything for a while, but the products I do have, I really like. So basically what I'm saying is my collection is mostly cruelty-free, but something like the L'Oreal mascara, which works for me and has worked for me for a decade or more, actually, I'm going to keep buying it. And maybe that's not the right thing to do. However, recently CoverGirl became cruelty-free, and I've been doing some reading that maybe in the next few years, actually animal testing will be gone out of China as well. So hopefully that would be amazing. So basically, I really don't agree with it. However, there are a few things that I am going to continue purchasing, which, yeah, I know that's not great, but I'm just telling the truth. Okay, last up is Lime Crime. And lately I've seen a lot of people saying that they used to not support Lime Crime, but now that the previous owner is not actually the owner anymore, they are going to. So basically this brand has had a lot of controversies, some hacking of accounts, people weren't told about it in a timely manner, some questionable things by this previous owner, such as she dressed up as Hitler, which, wow, okay. But the list goes on. It's a pretty long list of issues with Lime Crime. And from what I've heard, it does seem mostly to be surrounded around her. However, she's not the owner anymore, but she is on the board. Therefore, she is making money off the company. And I gotta say, some of these things are pretty atrocious, and it's not just one thing. I think sometimes if a brand has one thing that, they did this one bad thing, but they've apologized, they've changed their ways, you can tell that they're not doing whatever it is anymore. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to forgive people. I think people can change, but this company seems to have a lot of issues. So even though she's not the owner, but she's still on the board, she is still profiting. So from what I've read, I don't want to buy from that brand at this point. I guess if she were completely not involved anymore, as she appears to be the main drama creator, problematic person, I guess, if you will, I would consider it. But at this point, I've decided I still don't want to buy from this brand. Okay, so that is it. These are my thoughts on some controversial brands. Please let me know what you think. It's okay, we don't all have the same opinion. That's just how life works. It's freedom of speech. And yeah, thanks for watching.